So since we're getting back-to-back releases from the Opium label in 2025 so far, we just got Carti dropping his album Music back in March. We got Carson dropping this week, this Friday. More Chaos is releasing. Homixide Gang has an album on the way alongside Destroy Lonely with the mixtape. I think it's safe to say that Opium is going to be taking over the year of 2025, and we could see back-to-back releases. So let's talk about it. So to start, as we all know, Carti just released his album Music after 4 long years. The project finally delivered, and he delivered a classic, right? And had a lot of people thinking, right? Because there's a lot of Opium albums to be dropped, to be hyped up for 2025. We had Carson, More Chaos, that whole thing floating around. Lone announced the mixtape all the way back in December. Obviously, Homixide Gang is going to be dropping a sequel to Homixide Lifestyle 2. It got a lot of people thinking, you know, what's going to be the release schedule for the Opium label in 2025? And I think we just kind of got a hint, not even a hint. I think this is going to be the play from the Opium label, right? Obviously, Carti dropped last month in March. He had the biggest rap album of 2025 so far. One of the biggest, I'd say maybe top 3, maybe even number 1 biggest album of 2025, right? So since Carti dropped this massive of an album, he's gonna have all the engagements, all the insights, all the eyes looking at Carti. His insights, engagement is just probably insane by now, right? So obviously the biggest project is out of the way. All eyes are on Carti. What's his next move? What is he gonna do? And then, as we all know, the next move from the label is gonna be Carson's More Chaos. More Chaos drops this week, this Friday, which is going to be crazy. We're like 3-4 days away from More Chaos. Carti dropped in March. Boom, all eyes on him. What's his next move? Okay, his artist, his biggest artist so far, Carson, is going to be dropping the biggest project of his life. This is going to be a huge album from Ken, right? Carti just dropped an insane album. Crazy numbers. Then you got Ken, who's the leader of his class, right? Ken and Yeet are the 2 biggest artists to come out of that new wave that came about from 2021, and obviously Ken is pretty much one of the biggest new mainstream artists within 2025. So Carti's gonna put all the spotlight onto Carson. Biggest album pretty much of the Opium label besides a Carti release is going to be More Chaos. That's going down this Friday, right? And then I think what they're going to do after that, which is pretty much stamped at this point, is Homixide Gang launching Homixide Lifestyle 2 in May of 2025. So you just had Carti March, you had Ken April, you got Homixide May, and then obviously, as we do know, Destroy Lonely has a mixtape dropping early 2025. Lone said it in this interview right here. Someone asked him like, yo, Lone, what's some new music we're going to be getting? This was all the way back in Rolling Loud, Miami. And this is what Lone said right here.
Last question for the fans out there. What's coming up next?
I'm dropping new music. I got a mixtape coming out in the top of the motherfucking year. We not doing no album this time, you know what I'm saying? We dropping real raw, real feeling.
So he said, I got a mixtape dropping at the top of the year. Obviously, we're not really at the top of the year anymore, but I think we can all see the pattern in what's going down right now. March, April, May, June, back to back from the Opium label. Opium is going to be taking over 2025, and realistically, this isn't anything new, right? We've seen Opium try to do this in the past. It kind of happened. I'd say the last time this happened was like October, more so fall of 2023. You had Homixide Gang drop their project Fifth Amendment, I believe. Then you had Lone drop the Afflicts Get Killed Deluxe. Then you had Ken drop AG Seals back to back. And then fast forward to 2025, we finally got the Carti album. We getting Ken's album, Homicide's album, and a Destroy Lonely mixtape. It is looking really good. 2025 is looking insane, right? So Lone teased like this whole mixtape type thing that he wants to do, or he could be dropping, because Lone has teased a couple projects, right? He teased that mixtape at the top of the year. Then on Twitter the other day, he said, I heard we going Broken Hearts Volume 3. So that might be on the table, right? Then he said, I had a talk with me, decide I should do what's right. Maybe me and Ken first. So possibly, right? Obviously, we know what's stamped within 2025. Ken and Carti are realistically the only ones stamped, ready to go. Homixide and Lone are kind of just like floating theories, right? But I'm pretty sure that's what's going to go down. Could we see Music, More Chaos, Homixide Lifestyle 2, Destroy Lonely mixtape, possibly even Baby Boi? Then we get Opium Twins in 2025. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe I'm in my delusional bag, which probably is gonna come true. I doubt Opium Twins is ever gonna release. And then obviously, as we do know, Carti is teasing another album to be dropping soon, right? And we actually did receive some new info from Swamp Izzo himself. Somebody asked, yo, he's been teasing Baby Boi. Izzo said, ready. Done. Then Izzo said it's going to be all new music, which Carti has about 50 to 60 songs done for the project ready to go, right? So could we possibly see 2 Carti albums and a release from everybody within the Opium label in 2025? That's going to be insane. And obviously we still have 3 more projects, right? Ken April, Homixide May. I'm going to say Lone's probably going to be dropping in June because that's almost going to be a year from, you know, the release of Love Lasts Forever, and he did a whole other tour and he's got a lot of projects teasing for 2025, right? So that's going to be pretty insane. And then to just maybe end off the year or put the cherry on top is going to be Baby Boi. That could be insane, right? And then in regards to Baby Boi, a lot of people are like, yo, when do you think Baby Boi's dropping? Is it dropping summer 2057? When do you think it's dropping, right? So if we see in March, April, May, June, could we see a release for Baby Boi in July? I'm gonna be so for real. No, I don't think that's going down 1000%. Earliest we could see Baby Boi, at least in my opinion, drop is probably going to be after the weekend tour. It doesn't really make sense to drop 2 albums before a tour that's not even your own, right? I think Carti would more so want to drop another solo project or Baby Boi, whatever it is, right? Maybe after he gets the whole weekend opening act out the way. It doesn't really make sense in my opinion. And I believe the tour is going from like May to like September. I believe it ends in September. So could we see a Carti birthday release on September for Baby Boi? That could possibly be the case, or just never drops, or it maybe could drop like the last Friday of 2025. Who really knows? Realistically, I don't even think Baby Boi is needed within 2025. Let's just be all for real. Carti dropped back in March. The project's performing well. It's putting up numbers. Everybody's listening to it. It did what it needed to do. Maybe we could see another project before like the solo tour, because that definitely needs to happen. Earliest maybe winter of 2025. Could they run the Antagonist tour? That could be insane. But I do think a solo Carti tour is 1000% needed, right? Could we see the Antagonist tour run back in like 2026 maybe? Because I don't think he's gonna go tour this year. Solo tour at least, right? Who knows? But 2025 is looking really nice. We just got Carti. He did his big one, right? Then a couple weeks later we get Ken, and then we get Homixide, and then a Destroy Lonely mixtape or whatever the hell Lone is going to be dropping. But 2025 is going to be the year of Opium. If we thought Opium has taken over the game so far, bro, by the end of this year it's going to be insane. Opium, they took over, bro. It's up. They got it. Shout out the they got it, right? Let me know what release you guys are most hyped for, right? Is it going to be More Chaos, Homixide Lifestyle 2, Destroy Lonely's upcoming project, or Baby Boi, right? We'll throw that out there. But like I said, if you guys like this video, like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's MONEYMAY, is it? And I'm out. Thank you guys.